everyone, my name is David. I'm coming at you guys with a brand new LEGO Ninjago video, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing Ninjago episode 84, known as Big Trouble Little Ninjago. Now, I don't know if you guys can already tell, but I am a little bit sick today. My nose is really stuffy and I have a really sore throat. I can't really sit around and create a scripted review video for you guys. So instead, I'm just going to be scrolling through the entire episode, giving you guys scenes that I did like and that I didn't like, and kind of just summarizing the entire episode a little bit and giving you guys my thoughts, and just wrapping it up towards the end and give you guys my official review and rating for the episode. So hopefully that's alright with you guys, but yeah, without further ado, let's get into this episode. And this one is actually a really good one, just for the fact that it really does break the Ninjago formula. And as you guys all know, in previous Ninjago season finales, all the time the ninja would be the victors, and of course the villains would be defeated, but that is not the case in this finale. I'm going to get more into that later on when we actually get to those scenes. But the first thing that I do want to discuss is that it already starts off by breaking the Ninjago formula when we have Mark Oliver, the voice of Lord Garmadon, who's actually voicing the previously on Ninjago voice lines, which I think is really awesome, and it really did offer some kind of tone shift for the entire episode, so I really did like that. And the episode does start off with an entire scene where we have Baby Wu and Misako in Dare's apartment building, and they're of course discussing on how to find Lloyd and whether he's alright or not. And they didn't actually play the intro, which I think is very interesting, and I actually prefer that over playing the intro as soon as the episode starts up. And this just kind of lets us lean into the episode a little bit, kind of piques our interest a little bit more, and then all of a sudden we get launched into the episode, into the intro, and it's much more fluid in that way. But yeah, other than that, it was a really good scene. I like this one a lot, and yeah, it pretty much sums that up. So we have the intro over here, and then here is one of my favorite scenes in the entire episode. As you guys know, in Ninjago, we don't really get to see civilian life all that often, and so that's why I cherish scenes like these, because this kind of reminded me of that Mulan scene where we have all these soldiers, you know, suiting up and leaving their families to go fight off this threat. And of course that threat is Garmadon and the Sons of Garmadon. And so as you guys can see, we have this one lone samurai just approaching them, and I really liked how this was done, and it pretty much shows that Garmadon is this all-powerful being, and he's conquering Ninjago just like he wanted to in all those previous seasons. It was really cool to see him finally get that dream that he always wanted to have, even though this might not necessarily be the same exact Garmadon that we all remember and love from previous seasons. But it was really cool, and it kind of foreshadows the formation of that gigantic colossi that we see, that gigantic stone-looking creature roaming Ninjago City. We kind of get a little bit of a hint as to how that was created, with Garmadon using his dark magic powers to pretty much create some floating stone things that all form together and create this gigantic thing. And then we of course fast forward to the tea shop scene, which I actually also really did like. There's one thing that kind of ruined it for me, but I'm going to get into that later. But I did like how Misake is actually playing a major role in this season. I honestly thought that after she told the ninja of the tale about the Oni and the dragon, that we wouldn't ever see her again in the season, because I didn't think she'd have that much of a major role. But seeing her finally back in the season finale is great. I love how they're making use of this character, and it really does build up this world of Ninjago. They're doing such a good job of world building in this entire season. I absolutely adored it. And so there's one thing in this scene that kind of ruined it for me, and this was of course with Kai's hesitation to give up his powers if need be to save Lloyd. And the reason for that is because way back when in Season 1, Episode 10 of Ninjago, you had Kai saving Lloyd from this volcano that's blowing up. And he, of course, was trying to go for the Fang Blade, but then he just let it go, he let the Fang Blade go, and he went for Lloyd, and he saved him. In his mind, he processed that Lloyd was more important than the Fang Blade. And it's the same exact thing that's going on here. The Fang Blade could have been used to bring back the Great Devourer, which it ultimately did. Kai has his elemental power, and he thinks that he should keep it and use it against Garmadon. But the thing is though, is that way back when, in Season 1, he already made the decision that Lloyd is more important. This kind of seemed a little bit off character for Kai, because Kai is a really caring character when it does come to Lloyd. I kind of think he views him as a little brother perhaps, but it really just seemed a little bit off, and I didn't like that as much as I should have, and for that reason, I didn't really like how that entire scene was played out. But other than that, the scene was really good. And when it comes to Lloyd and all that stuff, I don't know if you guys can see, but when he does get brought back a little bit, he's going to have green eyes. But unfortunately, after a few minutes into that scene, his eyes just become black and white, and it kind of symbolizes how there's no more power flowing through Lloyd, and he's practically useless to the ninja team, which is unfortunate. But yeah. After this, we of course get to see Mistake give the ninja team the 2-go tea, which is actually really important and kind of sets up the Season 9 events. So yeah, it's also really cool how they're setting up a 2-part season, which I really do like, because they're kind of connecting Seasons 8 and 9. And not only that, they kind of connected Season 7 to Season 8, because so many things in Season 7 happened that set up in Season 8, and it's so great to see all these seasons finally interconnected. And it was really interesting, more because in Season 7, there was a different writer at the helm of Ninjago, and this time it has returned back to the Hageman brothers when it comes to Season 8, and it's nice how they tied in all those loose ends from Season 7 all the way to Season 8. It's honestly great to see. And yeah, we get this 2-go tea from Mistake, and it's going to be really helpful for the ninja, which I do like how they're bringing back some variations of the Traveler's tea. It's always great to see that thing back. And yeah, after that we get to see this gigantic Colossi that's roaming Ninjago City, and the police force is unfortunately not able to stop it because, you know, the police force in Ninjago is barely able to do anything when it comes to big bad threats. But this gigantic Colossi thing was so cool. I'm really surprised I didn't make a Lego set out of this thing. It's really cool to look at. And I was surprised because I expected some kind of gigantic enlarged Garmadon. Maybe he like turned into a gigantic Godzilla. That's honestly what I thought. But then I thought to myself, oh, it's this gigantic rock mech that he's probably controlling from the inside. And I was really surprised to see that Garmadon was controlling this gigantic Colossi stone thing from the outside. It was really interesting to see, and I love the design of this thing. It looks incredible, and as you guys can see right here, he kind of has like that rice hat thing over there. He's probably made up of the same exact terrain that we saw from that village in the previous scenes. I believe it was like the second scene, or maybe the first scene after the Ninjago intro. And it was really cool, and that village reminded me a lot of Jamaikai village. So this episode does have a little bit of nostalgia mixed in there, which I really did like. And this was actually a really funny scene here. The Colossi just pretty much rips off this part of the building. There's this guy doing his own business in the bathroom. Pretty funny, humorous scene. And overall, I do like the significance of this gigantic Colossi thing because it comes into huge play later on in the episode, and it takes a lot of risks. I do have to say this episode is very risky because of what it does. It doesn't follow the conventional Ninjago formula, which we have seen previously time and time again, and I'm so glad that it doesn't because I did not expect this. And this is the exact twist and turn that I wanted, that I craved, because everything in the season so far seemed a little bit too predictable in my opinion, and therefore I wasn't really too crazy about it, but this is the perfect season finale for a season like this. And after that, we of course find out that Garmadon does actually want Wu, although I don't believe that it's specified why Garmadon does want Wu, but we do learn that he does want him, which is a little bit odd, but at the same time it's very interesting as a plot device, and I'm really excited to show you guys one of my favorite scenes in the entire episode, which is actually a hallway scene. But before we get into that, I just want to show you guys again that Lloyd's eyes are completely colorless. As you guys know, Lloyd is one of the only ninja that actually has colored eyes, and his eyes were green, kind of symbolizing that power, elemental power that he had inside of him, and unfortunately that's not there anymore, and he's kind of just this useless ninja now. But at the same time, it's great to see Lloyd back again, and he's going to be playing a significant part in the episode as he has to sacrifice himself for Wu. Well, technically sacrifice himself. We're going to get into that later on, but yeah, really cool Lloyd scene right here, and he's kind of helping out Misaki and Nia, and then we just kind of get the ninja back here, and here's where I want to talk about the amazing hallway scene. It was really cool because we have Sensei Wu, and he knows that his brother is coming after him, and boy, I have to say, I love Sensei Wu. I love Baby Wu. Baby Wu is probably one of the best things to happen to Sensei Wu in general, and I'm honestly preferring Baby Wu more than Old Master Wu. And that's a really big shocker in my opinion, and I love this character so much. He always lightens up the mood in such a dark season like this. It's great to see, and he's just such a joyful character. I love the inclusion of him, and I would not do anything else to this character. I would not change a thing when it comes to this character. I love it so much. But here's actually this hallway scene where we have Misako and Nia up against Garmadon. So it's this kind of family confrontation because we have Misako finally facing off against her husband, who she hasn't seen in such a long time, and he's all evil. He's pretty much unrecognizable, and it's insane because I absolutely love how Garmadon is just abusing her, how he's fighting her so much. It just kind of shows how he's so heartless, and it really does symbolize and emphasize the ruthlessness that is in this character, and he's not really the same man that he was once before. And this scene kind of reminds me of this Legend of Korra scene. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that show. It's kind of similar to Avatar: Last Airbender, but there is this one scene in the season finale. You have Amon against Korra, and she's like this avatar, right? She magically like gets airbending in this scene, and she starts beating Amon, and it just kind of reminds me of this scene right here because we have both Misako and Nia. They're fighting in a really similar looking hallway, and Nia just starts beating Garmadon so fast and so quickly and so hard. It was honestly great to see. It was a really action-packed scene, and it's one of my favorite scenes just because of how action-packed it is. And I do have to say, guys, this is really significant because this episode doesn't have that much action. It's not like that action-packed season finale that you expect from previous Ninjago seasons. As I mentioned before, it does change things up a lot with the season finale, and I'm so welcome to this change because it's so much more creative. And it's more risky, it's more out of bounds, if you will, and I love it so much, and I cannot wait to see what they're going to be doing in the next season of Ninjago. But ultimately, it was such a cool hallway scene, one of my favorite scenes in the entire episode, for sure. And then of course we have Garmadon facing off Misako. It was just so great to finally see them, I guess, reunited technically, but at the same time facing each other off. It was really, really cool, and that fanboy inside of me loved that so much. But anyway, fast forward to Harumi and Lloyd. This is also something that I didn't really like about the episode, because Harumi does manage to put on the mask of hatred in this scene, but unfortunately she's not as fast and not as quick and not as powerful as she used to be in the previous episode where she did put on that mask of hatred. I don't remember the exact episode name, but she did put on the mask of hatred when Lloyd was in the Oni temple and he discovers that she is the quiet one, and she seemed much more powerful in that scene. And in this scene, she doesn't really seem to quite catch up to Lloyd as fast as she usually did, and she was always one step ahead of him. But now in this scene, Lloyd was way ahead of her, and I don't really know how I feel about that. It kind of diminishes the power of the mask of hatred. And the Oni masks are supposed to be these all-powerful things, and unfortunately they're not, so that's kind of unfortunate. But there's something really significant that happens towards the latter part of the episode, and of course happens when Lloyd jumps onto the flying trams or flying trains, whatever you want to call them, but they're the new installations in Ninjago City for transportation. And we have the bounty, and the ninja of course are trying to save Lloyd, but unfortunately he has to give up Baby Lou because obviously Garmadon wants him for unknown reasons, and so Lloyd sacrifices himself in order to have Baby Lou jump onto the bounty. And it's great because we finally get to see the Colossi back in action, and the Colossi just destroys the Destiny's Bounty. It was something that I did not expect at all because it is so iconic in the Ninjago universe. If you're a Ninjago fan, or if you've watched Ninjago episodes, you know of the Destiny's Bounty. It is like one of the signature vehicles in all of Ninjago, and to see that thing destroyed once and for all, it's really heartbreaking to a lot of Ninjago fans, and I did not expect this at all. It is so bold and risky, but I loved it. It is something that you don't expect, and it just sets up so much more disadvantages for the ninja in the next season of Ninjago. It's great. So yeah, this gigantic Colossi destroys the bounty, but don't worry guys, because the 2-Go T does come in handy, and they get transported into the Dragon and the Oni realm. But before that happens, of course, Lloyd does say one piece of dialogue which I really liked. He kind of throws back to one of Harumi's most famous quotes, where she states that the most powerful villain, or the best villain, or something like that, is the one who always gets away. And Lloyd is like, so then what does that make me? And then he gets away in the same exact fashion and style that Mr. E got away in the season premiere by parachuting down onto a river where he gets picked up on a boat with Misako and Nia, and they're on their merry way. And then of course Garmadon is celebrating this victory because he has finally taken over Ninjago City, which was so incredibly interesting, and I did not expect this. Honestly, I thought that it was going to follow the same exact formula that it always does every single season, but it didn't. I cannot commend this enough. It is so great, and I love the new risks and the new steps that Ninjago is taking as a franchise and as a TV series. It is so great to see, and it's just so much more creative, and I just get so much more enjoyment out of it for that reason. I love it a lot. And then of course we get to see the ninja in this brand new Oni in the Dragon Realm. And so we of course have the original ninja team and Baby Wu on what I'm assuming is an island. And yeah, they're pretty much stuck with all the Oni and the dragon, and that pretty much sums up the entire episode. And I have to say, it does such a good job of setting up Season 9, and it just kind of feels like a mid-season break, you know what I'm saying? Because these two storylines are going to be so well interconnected, and I love how it ends off on such a huge cliffhanger. It makes you want to see so much more of Ninjago, and I cannot commend it enough for that. It is a great finale, and it is one of the most unique and most creative finales that we've ever gotten in Ninjago, and therefore I really do like it a lot. So my final rating for this episode, Big Trouble Little Ninjago, is a 9 out of 10. Obviously, it's not perfect, but it is a very good episode. It's not very action-packed, but this episode does demonstrate that action is not needed for a Ninjago episode to be amazing. And this is a really good episode. If you guys haven't seen it already, please go check it out because you guys will not regret it. That pretty much concludes my review for Ninjago episode 84. If you guys enjoyed today's video, then please leave a like and subscribe for more LEGO Ninjago videos coming to you guys each and every day. And hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any more of my Ninjago videos. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out, guys.